What's up guys, Brian here with another deck profile, and today I'm going to be showing you guys Tenyi, really fun budget deck, and a deck that I think has a lot of potential this upcoming format. So without further ado guys, let's get on into it. So you're going to start off by running 3 Tenyi Spirit of Shuna. All Tenyi share the ability where if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and yeah, just lets you get a free body on board. Yeah, level 7 for the most part. A couple level 4s here, but for the most part, they're level 7s. And once again, if you control no effect monster, you can just special summon them onto the field. If you control no effect monsters, and you're going to link them off normally into your Link 1 Monk. And yeah, but they all have unique abilities. Just Ashuna, for example's unique ability is that if this card is in your graveyard and you control, if the card is in your hand or graveyard and you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card and then special summon one other Tenyi monster except him, and let you keep on extending and keep on going. But once you use this effect, you are locked into only special summoning worm monsters. So just keep that in mind. You do run 3 of him. He's really good, and you want to see him in your hand more often than not. Then you run 3 Tiny Spirit Vishuda. Vishuda is pretty much the compulsionary evacuation device of this deck. He lets you target one card on the field and return it back to the hand as long as you control a face-up non-effect monster. And I see other deck profiles use them, so yeah, it goes to show you how good he is. Sorry, other deck builds and for other decks use him, so it just goes to show you how good he is. And he is a level 7 dark, so it's very helpful. So you do run 3 of him. Next up, we have 3 Tenyi Spirit Shatana. She's pretty much, or it's pretty much the Monster Reborn of the deck, because he lets you, when a non-effect monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, lets you Monster Reborn it back. Monster Reborn it back, then destroy the card that destroyed it. And most often not it's through battle, and sometimes through card effects. So it lets you, pretty much keep your big monsters and not feel like you wasted any resources for nothing. So you run 3 of him, very important to have, and he's level 4, so very helpful when you want to go into Materia Beast. Next up, we run 3 Tenyi Spirit Ahara. It's the level 1 Earth Tuner. Very helpful for all your synchro plays, and it's clutch that he's an Earth level 1 to let you go into Materia Beast, which is nice against certain decks. So you want to see him in your hand, because if these guys are in your hand or graveyard, you can banish this card to target one of your banished Tenyis and add it back to your hand. So it lets you keep going, extending, and just keep the grind game going. And you normally want to target back a Shuna back into your hand so you can keep going off. So you only run 3 him. Next up, we have the 2 Mapura. Tenyi Spirit Mapura is pretty much another Tenyi level 4, and also shares the same effect where just special summon if you control no effect monsters. But his unique ability is that it protects you from targeting. So whenever your opponent activates whenever your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up non-effect monster, you can pretty much pitch this card from the graveyard or from your hand to negate the activation. So yeah, it's very helpful against things like Crackdown and things of that nature. So you want to run 2 of him because 3 comes up here and there, but you set it in for certain matchups. And then 1 Tenyi Spirit Nahara. This one pretty much reduces the battle. This is pretty much like an honest, but for them in a way, where it reduces their monster's attack by 1,500 when they're battling a face-up non-effect. So once again, just a little unique ability. It doesn't come up too often, but it is helpful, and also level 4 to help you go into that Materia Beast. Then I run 2 Marimar because Marimar is a really good card, and Tenyi is one of the few decks that can actually use it to the fullest of its ability and just create a crazy amount of advantage off one card. And then you want to see it. You want 2 because you don't see enough at 1, and then sometimes your Foolish/Rhoda spell card does get Ash, so you do want to see it at 2, and then combos off really well with Shaman. So we run 2 of those guys. And we run the Vanities package because I saw Chain Link through it, and Tenyi is one of those decks that doesn't really use their normal summon. So you could technically just combo off with your Tenyis, and then if you have an extra body line board and you haven't used your normal summon, you can just tribute it off for a Vanities fee, and then most decks have a hard time outing this. So yeah, guys, level 6, his effect, if you guys don't know, is that when he's on the board, it says neither player can special summon, and then decks nowadays, that's all they want to do is special summon. So yeah, we run 3 of him because you do want to see him counter your Wind Claws. And then we have Vanity's Ruler, who got reprinted in Dual Overload, and I'm so thankful that he did, because this guy was getting ridiculously expensive. It was like $10 for a rare, but now he's only 25 cents. Go ahead and cop him if your deck can use him. He's like Vanity's Fiend, but better because when he's on the field, it prevents your opponent from special summoning. You can keep on special summoning. You can keep on playing Yu-Gi-Oh! While they're over there trying to out discard, and you're just over there relaxing, watching them struggle. So you run 3 of him because you do want to see him. He does require 2 tributes, which is sometimes a problem, but not always, because like I said, Tenyi doesn't really use a normal summon, and for the most part, you're going to have a full board if that's the case, if you're able to bring him out. Then we run 3 Ash Blossom, 3 self-explanatory. We run 3 Fist of the Rival. It's like an Omni Negate. It's like a Solemn Judgment. When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect while you control a face-up non-effect, that includes the token. You can negate the activation. Doesn't destroy it, unfortunately, but it has another cool effect where it's like Awaken the Dragon. If this set card is destroyed, you can special summon 1 face-up non-effect. You can special summon 1 non-effect monster from your extra deck. So you could possibly bring out Blue Eyes. But for me, I'm not running it because it doesn't come up too much. But you can bring out your Berserker or your Lamp for Linkus, whatever you may need at the moment, you know. So you run 3 of those. Then we have the Foolish Burial / Roto Love Child. You run 3 of it. It's called Vessel for the Triangle Cycle. This lets you send 1 face-up, lets you send 1 more monster from your deck. Then if you control a face-up non-effect, which is sometimes going to be your Berserker, your Monk, or your Lamp for Linkus, whatever it may be. Control face up non-effect, you can add 1 Tenyi from your deck to your hand, except from the monster that you send to the graveyard. So normally you want to send this with the Mirror, and then add whatever Tenyi you feel that you need for that turn, and gets ashed a lot. So yeah, there's that. And then we run 3 Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi. This is a great field spell. Pretty much it protects all your face up non-effect monsters because they're unaffected by monster effects as long as this card's face up on the field. And then once per turn, if your opponent special summons an effect monster while you control a face down or face up non-effect monster, you can draw 2 cards. So it's like Pot of Greed. So it's protects all your monsters from monster effects, your face up non-effect monsters from monster effects, and it's like a Pot of Greed. So it's only once per turn, which kind of sucks, but still gets you crazy advantage sometimes, especially in the grind game. So you run 3 of those. Then we run 2 Waterfall of the Dragon Souls. You can use it as a draw card, or as a card to let you add a resource to your hand. Really depends on which one you want. It has 2 abilities. It's either send any number of war monsters from your hand or face up on the field to draw cards equal to the number you drew +1, or just lets you add 1 war monster from your deck. So a little disruption right there. Lets you bait out some ashes or anything like that. So yeah. Then we run 3 Call by the Grave because you don't want to get hand trapped, and then you want to be able to combo off and go off. And that's pretty much it for the main deck, guys. Now let's go into the extra deck. So, extra deck is going to consist of, 3 Monk of the Tenyi. This guy can be summoned with a long link Tenyi monster. He's your link 1, he's your starter, and then he's a face up non-effect, so lets you keep on special summoning all your Tenyis from your hand. You run 3 of him because you burn through him like no other. Then I only run 1 Berserker because most of the time you're able to get him back through Shaman, and then Shaman just lets you pitch a card from your hand to special summon 1 worm monster from your deck. And then if that's the case, to do get rid of him early, you can just always monster him back through Shaman, and it's just a big 3,000 beat stake, guys. And we run 3 Shaman because she's a crazy card. Lets you discard 1 card, then target 1 worm monster in your graveyard, special summon it, so you can either target your Berserker or you can target Mare, whichever one you're feeling that you need at the moment to just go ahead and combo off and go off. Next up, we run 1 Draco Master of the Tenyi. He's a link 3. He has the unique ability where if he's the only effect monster you control, you can destroy effect monsters up to the number of non-effect monsters you control or are in your graveyard. So if you're able to just, get him out in the late grind game and you have all your graveyard set up with all your monks and all your Lamp for Linkus and your Berserker, you're gonna be able to pop a lot of cards. And it's not targeting also, guys. It's non-targeting. And also he can now be destroyed by effect monsters. So yeah, there's that too. So he can be very clutch in the late game, and when you do bring him out, it's insane. Then we got the link 4, Tenyi Spanish Sahara. This guy's insane because it lets you bring out more tokens, and then you control a face-up non-effect monster, Your opponent cannot target effect monsters you control with card effects. So if you're able to bring him out along with the Berserker and you have vanities, your opponent's not going to be able to target effect monster with card effects because he's on the field. And on top of that, you're able to generate tokens by targeting one effect monster you control, one effect monster your opponent controls, and it lets you bring him out with the equal attack. So it's a level 4, letting you also go into Naturia and just keep on comboing off, or possibly even overlay. So yeah. Then we run the one link spider for the Appaloosa, the one link Karibo for the Appaloosa herself because why not? Then we run Omega because Omega is a great card because you want to get a lot of your cards that are banished back into your graveyard to keep grinding things out, and he's a generic level 8. Then one Draco Berserker because he's great and he's a Tenyi. Lets you banish effect monster. When an opponent activates a monster effect, lets you banish it, and then if he attacks an effect monster, he gains the attack permanently and lets you attack again. So yeah, pretty good for OTK. And then the one Naturia Beast because we're able to bring him out, and against certain decks like Sky Striker, Witchcrafter, whatever it is, just a auto win. So yeah, you just run the 1-0 because you have that Earth Tuner. It's very helpful. And that's it for the deck profile, guys. Really good, fun budget deck. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think or what you guys would change. And this is Brian signing out.